Are you curious about Canada's hidden gem of a wine region and the crown jewel winery that is at the heart of it? What does the bejeweled and endangered monarch butterfly have to do with winemaking in this area? And how do heat units, not just sunshine, help develop wines of great complexity? Well, tonight you're going to get those stories and more with our guest, whom I'll interview momentarily. If you're watching this video on the replay, please, in the comments, type the word replay. I want to hear from you. And of course, if you're here on the live stream with me, get into the comments. Let me know where you're logging in from. What's the weather like? And of course, what's in your glass? I'm Natalie McLean, and I host popular online wine and food pairing classes, and you've just joined one of the most passionate groups of wine lovers that gather every Wednesday at 7 p.m. to talk to the most interesting people in the world of wine, like our guest. I want to add that this is based on a recorded conversation that I had with our guest. It's for my podcast, Unreserved Wine Talk, but I will be in the comments with you live during the live stream. So get in there. Let us know. What tips do you like? What stories? What questions haven't we answered yet? Let us know. And before I introduce our guest, I should say that 3 of you are going to win a fabulous bottle of the Lola Light Rosé from Pelee Island. This is a wonderful wine. It's packed with flavor, yet just 9% alcohol. We're going to talk about this one. But as you know, all you have to do is email me at natalie@nataliemclean.com and let me know that you'd like to win a bottle of the wine, and I'll choose 3 people randomly from those who contact me. All right, back to our guest. Martin Janz, born in Germany, is the head winemaker at Pelee Island Winery and Vineyards, where he has elevated the winery's reputation in the Canadian and international wine worlds, winning tons of awards for his wines. He holds a degree in enology and viticulture and brings almost 3 decades of experience to his role, having been with Pelee Island Winery since 1996. And he joins us from the winery now at Pelee Island. Welcome, Martin. We're so glad to have you join us. How are you?
Thank you very much to having me, and to all your, how you say that, to your followers and whatever.
Yep.
Great.
Hello. All right.
Hello,
cool.
Hello. And then I know that you will say that. Yes.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
hello, and yes.
And I should
really,
just go ahead.
Really joining together. That's
Cool.
That's a really good thing.
Absolutely. And so those who are watching the video can see you. Those who will be listening to the podcast can't see you. But for either one, they don't realize you are a very tall man. Are you 6'5", something like that?
I always discuss that with my daughter too, and I still don't know how to convert the meters into, I think I say 6'5", 6'6". Yes.
Yeah. I once met you in person years ago.
I can tell it's 2 meters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do your conversion, and then you go to Google and figure it out.
Get the right answer.
6'5", 6'6". Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that must be hard, bending down to pick all those grapes. Not that you do it yourself, of course. So, Martin, tell us, what was the moment you realized you wanted to become a winemaker?
Okay, so we start basically with a relatively easy question, because my family/generations before, we had a winery in Germany, the Rheingau area, and yes, I grew up in the wine business. So growing up through that, yes, there was not a question that I do anything else besides to become a winemaker, because the passion with that, I got taught into it, and I loved it too. That's not only taught it, I loved it, and yes, I thought, yes, I will be a winemaker.
So probably from an early age you were helping out on the winery? Were you like picking grapes or helping in the winery make the wine? Like, were you working alongside your parents?
If you grew up over there, yes, and you had to do, if you're a certain age, let's say 8 years ago, no, if you 8 years old, yes, you have to go out and have to help. It doesn't matter if it's now in the vineyards or in the cellar. Yes, we did that.
So it's in your blood, yeah.
More or less, yes.
Yes.
Oh,
so,
okay, you take your words out of my mouth. And yes, it was in the blood, yes.
Yes,
and
good.
Not that only that I got forced into it, that's automatically, yes. It was in my thoughts, yes.
Oh, I'm sure. Like people who grew up with pianists.
That will what I will do.
Yep.
Sorry, Drew. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's all good. But we are a product of our environment, so I can imagine. There was never any question, as you said, that you would do something else. Now, you arrived in Canada in 1996. Why did you decide to join Pelee Island and not another winery?
Now we getting into a funny story. Okay, so I should go a little bit backwards. So
sure.
Growing up in the winery, so lead us a little bit the path to become to a winemaker. So it's not so easy. It's not suddenly you're working for a winery a little bit and then suddenly you're a winemaker. No,
right.
Over there, back in the past, and I think it's still like that in Germany. You finish your high school and your regular school. After school, you're doing 3 years apprenticeship. Apprenticeship means basically after the 3 years you are a trained cellar worker, a really trained cellar worker. That's happened after 3 years. So school done, 3 years apprenticeship, you are a trained cellar worker, not a winemaker yet.
Okay.
So at that time, yes, it was the old days. Germany still had the army stuff. So after that, I had to join the army because it was mandatory. So 1.5 year, 18 months. So joined the army, back from the army directly, and had to add another 3 years of apprenticeship to become to a winemaker. So you learned in the first 3 years all the basic, and now the next 3 years get all the details to become a winemaker.
That's a long training period, in addition to school.
So funny that you say that, because here everybody thinks everything is so easy. Yes, that it's a six years period to become a real trained winemaker.
Yeah, almost as long as a medical doctor. So when you got to Canada, you decided to join Pelee Island. Tell us about that.
Okay, now we have a funny story there. It's after I became a winemaker, yes, this was always in my head to do a year or maybe 2 years in an outside country, and in my head was, yes, it was maybe California, it was maybe South Africa, maybe it was Australia. So I always had that in my head. Then one day my former boss came to me and said, I got suddenly a call and they're looking for a winemaker for a year in Canada, and you basically got provided with for a year accommodation, the visa will be okay, and the flight will be paid. So,
wow.
I don't know if I should say as a lazy guy or whatever, but no, and that time, okay, I I thought, yes, maybe I take it.
Sure.
I said maybe I take it because at that time still, yes, looking in South Africa or Australia or Canada, sorry, not Canada, California. So Canada, I thought Canada with wine, That even okay, that was wow, 30 years ago. It's still considered in Germany as an exotic winemaking area. So
Sure. I'm sure you don't get many Canadian wines over in Germany, especially since you already make your own ice wine. So I can imagine there's not much there.
Right now, probably yes, but 30 years ago that was a little bit different.
Right.
So, and the funny part is Google and internet was 30 years ago not existing like it is right now.
Sure.
So basically, I have to go in a library and take some books and look up Canadian wines and winemaking. So, but yes, so I decided, yes, let's do it.
Let's give it a chance. Yeah. And so what has kept you there for 30 years? I mean, that is a long tenure to stay with one winery, and it's commendable, but why have you stayed with Pelee Island for 30 years?
There are probably a couple things what comes together. But if I committed to something, I love to commit it, and if the fit is right, I love it. So the fit was right in the first year, and obviously it went a little bit longer like that. So the fit was good. And
what about the fit made it good? What felt good to you? Why did it work?
Oh, I had it on my mouth, but okay.
Okay.
I had it on my mouth, but I interrupted, and it is the area where we are in. Follow in love in that, and after the area, what I follow in love with this, and then 1 or 2 years later, there came a woman on the site, and
a woman.
Yes.
Beautiful island, beautiful woman.
No, she's not from the island, by the way.
No, but you had the two
yes,
things working.
I know what you mean. But no.
Yes.
So no, but the company what provides everything, the work issues and everything, and the challenges and the ideas, what we're doing in the future and whatever, what we look in the future was actually really perfect, and it is perfect. So there was never a doubt that I really thought to leave Pelee Island.
No, I wouldn't either.
I know.
Beautiful.
There was always some challenges, and you got some offers from left or right or whatever, but no.
But you stayed true. So what do you do to challenge yourself, to keep things fresh? Like after 3 decades, like maybe give me an example recently. What new challenges are you giving yourself to keep yourself fresh?
Wow, that's a good question, and it's actually a relatively easy question to answer that, because if you make wine, every year is a challenge.
It's true,
So,
with the changes in the weather.
The basic thing, I don't want Coca Cola or Pepsi Cola, whatever company you say. They have a recipe, they make it, they put stuff together, and they put every year the same product out.
Right.
Wine, yes. Now we're going back to Mother Nature. Mother Nature every year is a little bit different. So
It's true.
that's the biggest that's really the biggest challenge. And
Absolutely. It's not like going to a corporate job.
Yes. I don't know how many frost we get and what during the year, if we get so much rain or we get not too much rain, we get hail or whatever, and it's always interesting. It's really challenging.
That's great.
By the way, it's not only for us. It would be probably in every wine region.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. As you say, Mother Nature, she has a mind of her own.
I went 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? I don't want to lie, but I was California and I went to Mondavi or whatever, and I talked to winemakers, and they had the biggest problem with wildfires, and it went into the vineyard. So it's everybody have a challenge. So
yeah. Whether it's droughts in Australia or wildfires or frosts in Canada, yes, absolutely.
Yes. So that keeps me up the toes. Yes.
Yep, absolutely. Now, you shared a story with me probably 15 years ago.
Okay.
I want to hear about it. Tell me about the time early in your career. You've learned lots since. You were filtering wine from a steel tank, but you forgot to take the top off. So why do you have to take the top off, and what happened because you didn't?
I don't know who told you that.
You did. You did. I came to the winery. Yes.
If I told you that,
so I had it from a good source.
Yeah, I said, don't repeat it. Don't repeat it. But
oh, I forgot that part.
No, obviously, okay. So get into it, and yes. Like I said, 96, I came here to Canada and did my first harvest. I think the first harvest was relatively well done, and then we went ahead, and so we clarified wines and everything, and clarified, you say filtering, I still think it's only pumping from A to B. You say filtering, that's a little bit different, but not a big thing. Mm-hmm. So yes, if you have a tank, what you have to pump from A to B, and then it makes totally sense that you pump the tank out and you open the top of the tank, that the air is flowing into it, to another tank.
So it doesn't create pressure, right? As it
vacuum. No, not pressure. Vacuum.
Vacuum seal. Okay.
I forgot to open the tank, and the pump is pumping out, and the top was closed, and the pump is still pumping, and no air is coming in, so it sucks the vacuum, and it's how do you say that? Coke or Pepsi can.
starting to crumple like a can. Oh my gosh! Collapse. But this is a huge steel tank.
Yes, and that's how you know how powerful are these pumps when we're pumping from A to B.
Wow.
I hope they was not so powerful, but they was powerful. So I saw it. Basically, we started at 9 o'clock, and we had at 10 o'clock a coffee break, and we have 50 minutes a break. Came back, and I heard the crumbling of the tank. So I saw that the pump is pumping from A to B, and I saw that crumbling, and it looked like a crashed Coke can on top of Pepsi can. I don't want like any advertise for Coca Cola or Pepsi. It doesn't matter.
It's okay.
It doesn't matter. Okay, and I saw that, and because I was only a little bit over half a year here, so I panicked, and I saw it for my boss seeing it. I pumped it back, and I thought that the tank is popping back.
Pop back out because you relieve the pressure. Yeah. Well, that makes great logic sense.
to its original shape didn't
Yeah.
happen. It was not as bad as it looked, but yes. So I
It
went
must
to
have been
the boss.
scary.
I went to my boss and I said, when is the next ticket back to Germany?
You wanted to quit?
Fired? No. I thought
Oh.
I get fired on the spot.
Uh,
But he came down and said, Martin, come down, and mistakes are happening. If you really work, always mistakes are happening.
sure. Well, that was very understanding.
So I have that still in my head.
I'm sure, especially first vintage. Oh my gosh.
There's no other big mistakes what happened till then in the last. But you learn from that, and that's the things. How you learn.
Absolutely. You're allowed a pass, especially on your first vintage. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's situate Pelee Island on a map in southwestern Ontario. So I believe it's about, you can correct me, jump in if I'm wrong on any of these facts, but it's about
Yes, you are wrong. You're wrong. No, go ahead.
it's about a 4-hour drive southwest from Niagara, about 30 minutes north of Windsor. The island is Canada's most... No? Okay, go for it. Tell me what's right.
It's not north of Windsor. It's south of Windsor.
Right, I misread that.
North of Windsor, you would... No, it's south of Windsor.
It's south of Windsor. That's right, because it's the southerly point. Yes. I just misread it here. Okay. No, I want to know. We have to be factually correct. Good correction. So, the island is Canada's most southerly point, just below the 42nd parallel.
And it's not right either.
Oh, okay. Tell me what correct it. Go ahead.
There's don't nail me down, but there's one more island. There's nobody living on it.
I see.
Middle island.
Yep.
And that's
uninhabited.
The southern point, but uninhabited.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I should have said Canada's most
habitated. Yes, we are.
Yes, Canada's most southerly habitated point.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Boy, you're stickier than my English grade 12 teacher. All right, here we go. In fact, I'm going to try to get a sentence out without being corrected.
barely. You people barely understand me, so
You're doing great. Very authentic. We can tell you come from Germany. In fact, parts of 22 states in the U.S. are actually north of Pelee Island. It's on the same latitude as the latitude for...
Maybe I interrupt?
Yes, go ahead.
Maybe it could be 27, but
27.
27, okay. we are close to it. Okay, yes.
I'm going to try to get another sentence out. Okay, you're on the same latitude as Northern California and Tuscany in Italy. Was that one right? Yes? Okay, he's quiet. All right. You must be right.
No. I'm thinking right now what you said. Northern California, yes.
Yes.
Basically, we are... a lot of people say Sonoma or Napa Valley. No, we are a little bit north. The parallel what we have is the 41.5 exactly. So if you go really, if you go a little bit in California, a little bit north of Napa is Mendocino County.
Right.
There, and if you would go over then the latitude to Europe, yes. Basically Tuscany. I think you're totally right, whatever. But
one thing I told you right.
Love to say it. It's Madrid, Spain, Rome, Italy.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's clearly on a latitude where winemaking is very prevalent. So Pelee Island is about 25 kilometers or 16 miles offshore, but you can get there via a 20-minute flight or a 90-minute ferry. I found this interesting during my research, which could be...
The 90-minute ferry is totally right.
Okay.
20-minute flight if you do the check-in and that's...
Security pass. Okay.
It's basically 10. Okay, I don't try to be too...
Yeah, you can back off a little bit, okay?
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. The conveniently narrow passageway between the island and the mainland helped some 60,000 black slaves to escape from the United States to freedom after the American Civil War. It's also a watery burial ground for not only a few unfortunate fishermen over the past 2 centuries, but as well as 274 shipwrecks, mostly fiery casualties of the War of 1812. So, as I understand it, you actually make the wine in your facility on the mainland in Kingsville. Now, wineries often want to get their grapes as quickly from the vineyard once harvested into the winery so that they stay fresh, don't get crushed under their own weight, etc. But you have to take the ferry. So what accommodations do you make for this when you pick the grapes and transport them?
Recommendations, you mean?
Are you do you have the ferry booked? Do you try to make it as quick as possible? Do you have any special holding tanks or trucks to keep them fresh?
So going back a little bit to the whole conversation with that, that the vineyards are on the island, the facilities is on the mainland. Yes, it's a big challenge. Yes.
Right.
So
right.
Everything, what's going over to the island, if it's produce for the people who are working there, and yes. Spraying material, fertilizer, whatever. Yes, that's have to be everything organized. As well as the grapes have to come back from the island to the mainland. Yes, they have to be organized, and it's not as easy. Yes, so you organize, you do your reservations, and maybe you can add some reservations, you can cancel some reservations, but it's everything will be done, and it's for this year. Yes, we're doing a little bit before Labor Day, and we're doing after Labor Day. We have a certain reservations till end of October.
Yeah, you pick earlier for sure because you're much warmer.
I know which question is because.
But one I wanted to ask before we get there.
The vineyards are close by or whatever. Yes, we are picking.
But do you also pick early in the morning so that it's cooler? Do you try to pick earlier in the day or even in the early morning so that the heat isn't as intense when you're picking?
You take the word out of my mouth. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we are basically when the first boat is leaving the island. Don't nail me down. I think it's 9 o'clock. Yes, we are starting. Yes, midnight. Even after midnight.
Midnight. Wow.
And harvesting the grapes to getting to the boat for 8 o'clock. So yes, there is not the time frame like other wineries. They can pick it and they have it in 2 hours later on the boat, on the press. We having it 6 hours later.
Wow. Okay. So we'll get back to the warmth and the heat units, but let's talk about the winery and the history. Pelee Island, of course, is the cradle. It's where Canadian winemaking started. And Canada's first estate winery on the island was named Vinvilla, and it opened in 1866. I don't think a lot of people think about that. Predating Niagara wineries by decades, early settlers came from Ohio and Kentucky and made wine from Labrusca grapes. In 1870, the winery won its first medal in competition at a Paris wine tasting. I found that phenomenal because this was at a time when there were only 2 steamboat crossings a week to the island. There was no telegraph or postal service, let alone ATMs or Starbucks. And there were no flying winemakers or consultants to help with winemaking on the island. Now, commercial winemaking, as I understand it, collapsed under the weight of the Temperance Act of 1916, the war, and the Depression, and it didn't resume until Pelee Island Winery opened in 1983. So is there anything about the history of Pelee Island winemaking that surprises or inspires you?
No, like you said, inspiring. It's that happened already in the late 80s and then beginning 90s. That's inspiring that. And before I came, I had no idea about that. So when I came, a year later or 2 years later, yes, I looked up a little bit more the history about that, and I was amazed about that too. So
how long it's been happening? Yeah,
that's amazing. And if probably don't nail me down, but if that's the 1930s or whatever, 1920s, 1930s, the prohibition
right
wouldn't work. It worked, obviously it worked, and if you still could grow grapes or whatever, there would be still grapes on the island. So, by the way, the rumor is still there. In the 90, when was it, 30s or whatever, Al Capone had a hump there on Pelee Island to
he had a house on Pelee Island?
No, not a house, a hump or whatever. He had the connections, get alcohol.
To go the illegal bootlegging, yeah.
It's only a rumor. And the island was
Al Capone.
a hub to go to the States.
I'm sure it was. It's been a hub for many people and even animals. Okay, so today Pelee Island is one of 15 wineries that are part of the Lake Erie North Shore wine region, which is one of 4 major wine regions in Ontario. The others, of course, being Niagara-on-the-Lake, with about 30 wineries, Niagara Escarpment, 60, Prince Edward County, about 45. The Lake Erie North Shore region embraces the counties of Kent and Essex and has about 1,200 acres under vine and specializes in the classic grapes like Chardonnay, Riesling, as well as hybrids, Vidal Blanc. There's Merlot, Pinot Noir, Cabernet Franc, Cab Sauv, and Baco Noir. Pelee Island is also the largest of 13 islands that comprise the North Erie Archipelago, a series of islands that are now part of the new VQA sub-appellation called South Islands.
Yes.
Good. Okay. No corrections. Excellent.
Okay,
I'll just keep going. The teacher says it's okay. Sorry. No, it's all good. So when many wine lovers, Martin, though, think about Ontario wine, they think about Niagara first and then perhaps Prince Edward County. Why do you think they often overlook Pelee Island and Southwestern Ontario beyond the fact that Niagara is larger and closer to Toronto? Especially when you have such a long history of making wine and the quality of your wines has been proven over and over again in international competitions.
I know I should overlook that is Niagara, Toronto is close to Niagara. You said that I should overlook that, but I think that's a major factor.
That's a major factor, yeah.
In the whole story, yes. And I think...
Makes sense.
I think here in our area, experience from the last years, where yes, we're getting people from London from the London area, and yes, we're getting in people from Michigan, yes. So I think the location basically is a big factor. So people in the metropolitan area like Toronto, whatever, yes, they worried about the 4-hour drive to come
right
down.
4 hours, yeah, it is significantly longer, yeah, and then you have to take the ferry.
There are people who are doing that, and we welcome and question about it, but yes. So,
absolutely, and we're going to tell them why they should visit.
I know it's hard. Yeah.
No, I get it. So, as we said, this is the country's warmest wine region, which is why half of Ontario's. Pardon me?
About it.
Yeah,
no
for sure.
About it.
Which is why half of Ontario's greenhouses are located in your region. It's famous for Leamington tomatoes. And you benefit from 200 frost-free days and the highest accumulation of heat units. And that is when the temperature during the growing season is above 10 degrees Celsius so that the grapevines are actually growing. And this is a lot more than Niagara gets. How does this impact the type and quality of wines you produce?
It's not a lot more. Through looking up a little bit with the heat unit frost-free days, I did some research years ago, not years ago, 2-3 years ago too. Yes, we have more frost-free days than Niagara. We have more heat units than Niagara, but it's not as much as you think. So, but yes, we are still, like I try to say, and I always tell that on the tour, we are the banana belt of Canada.
Why do you say banana belt?
That's a good question. Oh, now you got me. Banana belt, because it sounds really
tropical.
Sweet and, tropical and
warmer. Yeah.
With the most heat units and frosty free days. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely, that makes sense.
Good question. Banana belt. So now.
Well, it makes sense, and we're going to talk about all the different trees and species that grow there, just to mention them to listeners and viewers, because it's an amazing sanctuary to visit. But that's probably where banana belt, I'm just guessing that it comes from, because it's just this warm environment that can foster all of that different life forms, whatever. So most wineries hug the north shore of Lake Erie on the mainland, seeking moderating temperatures in the summer so that the vines and the grapes don't cook. However, Lake Erie freezes over in the winter because it's shallow, so it doesn't provide that moderating effect in the winter like Lake Ontario does for Niagara. And yet classic grapes like Merlot and Chardonnay don't do well under 20 degrees Celsius. So how do you mitigate the cold impact in the winter?
We have to turn a little bit back. What do you mean that the vine don't cook?
Yeah. So the lake effect for Lake Erie is similar to Lake Ontario in Niagara, in that it brings in the cool breezes over the vineyards, so that in the real hottest days of the summer in the vines, they're not getting too much heat I should say. So they're not, cooking, so to speak. That might not be the right word. It moderates the temperature.
That's the way that they cook. Okay.
Yeah. So, but in the winter, you don't get that moderating effect because the lake freezes over. So do you use like wind machines, or what kind of ways do you counteract the cold weather?
The lake is basically to get frozen. It's relatively late too.
Okay, late in the season.
We have the warm weather. So, and like you said before, it's a shallow lake. So in the wintertime, before it starts freezing, and the last years we probably barely see the Lake Erie freezing from Pelee Island to the mainland through.
So you're still getting some moderating impact from the lake.
So it's the opposite, a little bit what you say. So we get a little bit more effect of the lake, and it helps us a lot too, because it gives up in the winter time. It's not frozen, whatever. There is no ice on it.
Right.
So it gives up.
The opposite effect. The warmth comes in.
And so funny. It's so funny it sounds. If it's half a degree or a decrease, or maybe 1.5 degrees, it still helps.
Yeah, it makes a difference. Even that small temperature change.
People don't realize that, but yes.
And do you use wind machines as well?
Yes.
Okay, so what's happening there? You're taking the cold air off the floor of the vineyard and then bringing in warm air. That's because hot air rises. We know that.
To explain that a little bit easy, and then probably a lot of people will shake their head or whatever. But what I think, it's wind machine. You start a wind machine, air is flowing.
Uh-huh.
Flowing is, I think, it's physic. If some air movement is, there's friction. Friction is creating some heat. So, and so funny it sounds. The wind machines, when they're doing that, they can doing 2 to 3 degrees Celsius, and
they raise the temperature by 2 to 3 degrees. Wow.
The temperature, and then sometimes that's exactly the point what you needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it gets really, 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 really cold, 2, 3 degrees means nothing. But from experience, right now there is sometimes exactly that time when we need that 2, 3 degrees.
That's great.
So a wind machine, if you want, a wind machine is 20 and let me think, 22 feet high.
Oh.
The wings are probably up to 10 feet.
In the span, wow.
In the span, yes. And obviously, yes, the right time when you have to do it, when the weather report said, yes, we should do it. So we start that, and yes, they can increase the temperature on the ground by 2 to 3 degrees, or maybe.
That's fantastic. So your labels feature many flora and fauna found on the island, but these are not to be confused with the critter labels dreamed up by marketing focus groups. Your creatures actually live on the island, and you came up with these labels far before the critter craze started.
I not came up with that labels. I think even if I'm already 30 years.
Yeah, it was predated you. Yes.
Already
yes, I didn't mean to say you.
By the way,
Pelee Island.
It's okay, only one.
Yeah, yeah, you're doing it all. You're designing the labels, you're picking the grapes, you're making the wine.
I'm not.
Okay. In fact, there are more than 100,000 species of plants, insects, birds, and animals that inhabit Pelee Island, making it a nature lover's paradise. There are many plants found there that are not found elsewhere in Canada, such as tulip trees, sassafras, Kentucky coffee trees, several species of reptiles and amphibians, as well as birds such as the orchard oriole, the Carolina wren, peregrine falcons, and my favorite, just because of the name of it, the yellow-billed cuckoo. They are all living on the northern edge of their inhabitable range on your island. You're also part of the Carolinian Zone. It's an ecological region in southern Ontario that represents the northernmost point of deciduous forests, the type of trees that shed their leaves annually. And it's stretched down into the United States, into the Carolinas, thus the name Carolinian. Point Pelee National Park also has a massive collection of freshwater marshes left by the Great Lakes, with miles of sand dunes, woodlands, and meadows. Just sounds beautiful. I also hear that tens of thousands monarch.
Sounds really beautiful, and I think it's totally true. Okay.
It is. It is. I know. I've been there. But for our listeners and viewers, I want them to know it's not just the winery as to why you should visit. It's this nature lover paradise. I also hear that tens of thousands of monarch butterflies hold a convention for a couple of days on your island each year in September before they flutter their way down to Mexico for the winter. The island is a critical stopover point for them to rest and feed before they carry on their journey. That must be gorgeous. You have a wine with a monarch butterfly on it, do you not? Maybe you want to show us that one? Do you have that bottle?
Yes, I think we have. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Just maybe show us the label. Go up to the, there it is. Maybe show it to the camera close. Yeah, to your camera. There it is. Beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's the monarch butterfly is actually an endangered species. It's on your Vidal Blanc wine, and it has these jeweled tones of orange and black. It's just simply gorgeous. Now, let's, you have some other bottles there, but I think we will get to our tasting given time is flying. You have like a red-winged blackbird, a pear cactus, and there are others that are on your labels. Is your respect for the island's ecosystem and highlighting it on your labels why you don't use insecticides but rather natural fertilizers and follow the World Wildlife Federation farming guidelines?
I don't think so. As a winemaker or whatever, you should not think about that. That should be an automatically thing to respect the nature or whatever. Yes. And we do that, yes. Insecticides. Yeah. And there's probably other wineries they maybe handle a difference, but so far as I know, all other wineries, what I know, whatever, they following that too. And then it should be a natural thing that
sure.
that the winery should respect what Mother Nature gives you. You pay a little bit back.
Respect.
Pay a little bit back is maybe respect. Yes. Exactly. So
absolutely,
we respect that, and then what you said before that, yes, and that's a part of respect. Yes.
Absolutely, and so, you also do that in that you reforest unproductive land and use natural groundwater to compete with the vines so that they produce more concentrated fruit. Let's go to the Lola Light Rosé, which I've been just dying to open here. Do you have yours there too, Martin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I will. So
let's open it. And there's a slight...
we talk about the same bottle?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let's open
Absolutely. Yeah. So this only has 9% alcohol. Beautiful, refreshing rosé, which is, so summery, but also I think I drink this year round. Tell us about how you made this wine. Like how did you pack so much flavor into it and yet so low on the alcohol?
No, the flavor is coming year by year. It will be naturally, but I think that will be the trend in the future anyways, that we going a little bit to the lighter side.
Yes.
So we decided I don't know if that was the first vintage or we had a year before the first time. No, I think we have 2 years now Lola Light. And the first year we started a little bit to start with that, and it was okay. People loved it, and that's I think this vintage what you have right now is the second year, and it's getting more and more, and you will see
beautiful nose.
You will see in the future. It's get more and more trendy.
Yeah. Well, people are looking for lighter alternatives, although they still want it to taste great.
That's what I try to, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And is it a Cabernet Franc grape base for this wine?
You're totally wrong with that.
No.
Totally.
Well, tell us what the right grape is.
That wine is basically... the Lola Light is around 95% Vidal.
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 Okay.
But it's a white grape variety.
Yep.
And 5% red.
Red. Okay, but not Cabernet Franc. Okay.
I have nothing to do with Cabernet Franc.
Well,
yes,
it's so.
We have Cabernet Franc, Rosé, and whatever. Yes.
Okay. Your other. I knew you had a Cabernet Franc Rosé, but
yes.
It's not this one, okay? Because you make like a number of different rosés. You have 3 or 4 different rosés.
We have Pelee Pink, yes. We have
Bella.
The Bella. We have our. I think we get. No. We have the red. I should say not regular, but the other Lola.
You have an organic one. Yeah.
Organic one.
Yeah.
What is basically.
A regular Lola, right? With regular alcohol level? Like
yes,
12, 13% or something? Yeah.
12 and a half, yes.
And then you have these little guys, these little 200 ml, I think they are.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so
There's
cute.
there's a regular Lola, and that's a regular Lola.
It's like a me and a mini me. You've got
Yes,
these little mini bottles,
yes,
which I
yes.
would think are ideal for a wine tasting or someone who just wants to do a little sampling. You know, the format's
At
really
first,
cute.
it's so funny it sounds. I thought we do it only for golfers. Because
Oh, for golfers.
I'm golfing a little bit too, and they open the bottle or whatever, or a beer can, and they go from hole to hole, and they can't close it. So no,
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
say that official, okay?
Sure. Well, we won't check your golf bag or your caddy. But what would you pair with this Lola Light Rosé? What would make a great pairing for you, Martin?
Oh, now we going in, especially this wine, or generally pairing wine with
This wine. Like pair
this
this wine
wine.
with something. Yeah, the Lola.
This wine, relatively easy.
Yeah.
Go on your patio and have whatever you have, a shish kebab, or you have chicken or whatever on your barbecue, and
That'd
it's
be nice.
it's 25, 30 degrees outside there. It's have that.
Yeah.
Have
The
it,
chari
have it,
grilled
have
and
it,
this.
have it before the sun goes down. When the sun goes
Yes.
down,
Yeah.
then you switch over to some things. But in the middle of the day, that will be perfect.
Oh, I love that you pair wine by the hour. So yes, this would be good pre-sunset, and then maybe a more full-bodied red or something at night as you're sitting around the campfire telling stories and cozying up in a blanket. If someone, pardon me,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
I
it
have a
works.
problem, but okay.
So, are there any other wines you'd like to highlight? I'm just cognizant of our time because it's really flown by. But are there any other wines you wanted to mention before I continue with more of the wrap up part of the conversation?
No, to mention, and I had that over the last years too. So I love to say that, really honest, wine pairing. I know you're big with wine pairing too, whatever. Do your wine pairings. There is a roughly idea what you do, but if you want, go a little bit out of the ordinary. Go.
Sure.
If you even if you have maybe a bad example, but that what I do too. If I have a steak in the middle of the heat, it's July and we have 30 degrees outside. Yes, I drink a heavy Chardonnay with that. It don't have to be always red like
Yeah.
what the books are saying. So
Sure. They
I
say pair the wine to the diner, not the dinner. Drink what you like.
perfect.
We're in agreement.
No, we're totally in agreement
Yeah.
with that. And it's
Yeah.
yes, there are rules you should follow roughly. The guideline gives you a guideline, but if you go a little bit left and give it a little bit right, or that's the other way, or whatever, yes, but do it, whatever you
Yeah.
think.
Absolutely. So what are your best 2 tips if someone wants to visit Pelee Island? Of course you want them to visit the winery. What are your top 2 tips for visiting the island? Like whether it's if they're visiting the winery or just the island itself? Like, do you have any suggestions for those who want to make this a trip?
So the two, obviously, you took the first thing out of my mouth. Visit Pelee Island.
Visit the winery, yeah?
No, don't visit Pelee Island. Visit Pelee Island or visit one of the local wineries. And you said it before, we have 15 local wineries around there. And
Yes.
there are a lot of good other wineries around there in this area.
That's very collegial of you, yeah.
And especially if it's the summertime, a lot of wineries have a restaurant on the side or whatever. go there, visit them, join them, and have food there. It's not bad to do it.
That's great. And then at Pelee Island, do you have outdoor barbecues for use for visitors if they want to just grill their own food have a little camp out, snack out, or whatever?
No, here at the winery we have a couple of events, and they are not every weekend, but they are probably every second weekend. Yes,
Okay.
and we provide. There will be always somebody who it's a pizza or if it's burgers or whatever. There
Okay.
will be, and with the band, and we will have some special locations, and we will do that.
Yeah, awesome. And I'll just throw in there that while you visit Pelee Island, you can also, there's a restored lighthouse. You can go scuba diving, hiking, biking. You can see the historical, geological, and archaeological artifacts of early winemaking at the Pelee Island Heritage Center. And of course, there's Point Pelee National Park. So
That's one of the 2 points. I would
yeah,
mention that. Point
yeah,
Pelee.
they're
Always
beautiful.
Always beautiful to see that.
Absolutely.
Besides Pelee Island Winery or another winery. Yes.
Yep, for sure. Martin, if you could share a bottle of wine with anyone in the world, living or dead, who would that be?
You know what? That's a good question. Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, the chef. He did Kitchen Confidential, and then on TV, No Reservations.
Layover reservations. Yes.
Yeah.
If
Why do you pick him?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I think the character, what he had, I think he was a little bit dark and a little bit interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, a couple people tell me that I am that too.
You're dark and interesting.
No. I don't say that. I don't.
No, people have told you that. No, he had a wit and a fascination with food and wine, for sure. And we're talking about him in the past tense because he did die. But
it's not only about the food, whatever.
Right.
A little bit more the lifestyle, what he's thinking about it. I think there's a little bit more behind that. So, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
He would be fascinating.
Which
Yeah.
bottle of wine?
Yes.
I let him choose.
Oh, you let him choose. Okay.
He tell me whatever he want, and I would open that. So
That's great.
That would be no question. But yes, I would love to do that with him. Yes.
I'm sure he would have loved to visit Pelee Island. He was a world traveler.
And trust me, he would, not knowing my name at all. You probably don't know Pelee Island at all. But if he would have the chance, I would love to meet him. Yes.
That's awesome. I love that pick. I love his writing.
It's done. It's done. Yeah.
Is there anything we haven't covered, Martin, that you'd like to mention?
No, now you make me thinking.
That's what an interview is about. Prodding you to think.
Fair enough. No, I think we covered everything, and I don't want to get into talking about how Pelee Island have the greatest wines or whatever. Other wineries have really good wines too. So please.
Very, very diplomatic way to sneak that in, yes.
But it's a customer choice anyway, so I think so they can choose. I mean, I think we're doing a really good job here at Pelee Island, and yes.
Absolutely. Well, the awards and scores prove it.
Other wineries are good too, so that's not like I have nose up and say Pelee Island is the best.
No,
so.
it's good. The rising tide lifts all the boats when you work together as a region. Martin, this has been wonderful. Where can people find you and your wines online?
Find me?
Oh, well, the
Okay.
winery, I guess.
I'm probably not giving my phone number out.
Okay, yeah. No, we don't need that.
And I don't. Actually, by the way, that's so funny. I'm moving pretty soon.
Oh, yeah?
But I don't tell the new address so that the people are not finding me. But website, it's PeleeIsland.com.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
the regular, go Google Pelee Island and you'll find
Okay.
us. And
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll put the links in the show notes. And you're also on social media, or the winery is on social media. So we'll put all of that for those who are searching for that. Because people can also order directly from you. They don't have to just go to the liquor store and you ship.
no, we have e-commerce, yes.
Yeah. And you ship directly to their doorstep. Yeah.
Sorry to have that not on file or whatever, but Connor,
That's okay.
we will do, yes.
Absolutely.
You will get the information that you can hook it up the links.
Yeah.
I'm a
No
winemaker,
worries.
I'm not a salesperson. That's the thing. You know?
No worries. This has been fabulous, Martin. I really enjoyed chatting with you. And I hope next time we can do it in
Don't say
person
that
again.
because only you have to say that. So it was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Let's raise a glass of Lola Light. Cheers to you and to this harvest. I hope it goes well. And I look forward to chatting with you again.
Okay. Take
All
care.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.